Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna sew a leather pants. For this leather pants you are gonna need obviously some fabric. I have this really pretty leather fabric. It's obviously fake leather, but it's really thin leather. It's really nice to have on your skin to focus on a leather which is not too thick, and it's a little bit stretchable, so it's nice to wear and it's comfortable. I have here 1.60 m by at widest, and I'm gonna sew the size small, so just that you know. And I'm also gonna have this really nice lining which I used for the coat. I don't know if you saw this video, but I did make a coat, and I have a little bit leftovers because I thought I want to have pockets on my pants, but I don't want the pockets to be in leather, so it's not sticky and it's not too thick. You don't have to use it, and if you use it, it's just really a tiny bit. If you see on the pattern, you have the front pockets right here, and you're only gonna need the lining for this lower area. The front area are gonna be out of leather, so that's the only part you are gonna need that. Something that's special about this pattern is it has darts in the front and also in the back. So whenever you pick your size by the hip measurement, not by the waist measurement, because the hip is the widest part of the body for a pant, and this area you are going to need to fit really well. For example, if size small fits you really well on the hip area but it does not on the waist area, you are able to make the waist a little bit bigger because we have darts in this pattern, and you can just make the darts a little bit less. I always recommend to get a size up because you always can make stuff smaller. It's really hard to make stuff bigger, so just that you know that. And what you can see, you have obviously the darts, you have the pockets on the front. On the back pockets, it just draped it on, so there are no pockets on there right now, but the original will have some pockets. If you have, for example, longer legs, this is also fine. Just go ahead and glue a little piece of paper underneath on the bottom and then just straighten it out. So you just take a measurement and then you go down how long you need this pants, or of course you can do the same with the shortness. That's really nice to have on this pattern because it is from the knee down, it's just straight, so you can just go ahead and make these lines longer or shorter. And that's something I'm really focusing on my pattern. So if you like to have even more patterns, just go ahead in my shop down below. I have many more sewing patterns like dresses, pants, jackets, or bags or stuff like that. But how I just said and how we are going to do it finally, we are going to cut everything out, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to cut out. Obviously everything is written down on the pattern, so don't worry about that. But there are no seam alone. That means we need to have about 1 cm seam alone, or if you need just a half seam alone, that's fine too for you. And then also on the side seam, because we have the special seam on the side seams, there is a little note, so you have to have 1.5 seam alone for that, because we are going to cut this down about a half a centimeter, and then we're going to flip the 1.5 centimeters just a centimeter over, so we have a really nice half centimeter seam alone and seam right there. So we have like, it's kind of look like you use the if you know about that, but it's just gonna look like that. So that's everything you're gonna need. How you just saw, I cut it out everything. You are going to need the back pockets twice. Like you see, I put the lining on the bottom and then the leather part on the top, but you don't have to do it. And you need the back cover also twice, like here, and then you have the pockets, and that's the pocket for the bag, so we need that twice too. Then we have the part which goes above the zipper, and we have the part which goes below the zipper, and also we have the waistband, and then of course we have twice the front and twice the back. And how you can just see, I did mark everything really well, So the dots are, for example, for the pockets, and that's for the dart, which we have to sew. And I use for that these really nice pencils, which goes away by heat. And obviously I'm gonna need this presser foot, which has a little roll right down here, which just makes it easier to roll from the just makes it easier to sew, because that's obviously a little bit sticky and it's gonna roll really well and better on this fabric. Obviously you need some thread, and then you're obviously gonna need the sewing pattern. You're gonna find this down below in the description box in my shop. How you see right here, we have both the front parts, so we can tell about the curve right here, because that's for the pocket, and that's for the zipper part. And of course, which I forgot, we do need a zipper. 14, so that's perfectly, and we are gonna need that. And I think we're just gonna start with the darts. So you have darts on the pattern right here, and what you're gonna need, you have to fold it just like this, and the dot also. It's a little bit tricky because you can mark on that. Maybe you can, but I just couldn't. And I'm just grabbing this part right there. So now the dot is right here, and then I have the darts right there. So I'm gonna sew just down here, and I'm gonna do this with both sides, and then we can just go ahead and put the zipper in. And how you see, I have the darts sewn right here, and you are gonna have this over folded, and I'm just gonna fold it to the mid, not to the other side, because you can see it's just a little bit off. So I'm just gonna fold it over here, and then I'm just gonna sew to fix that. But for now we do the zipper part, so just go ahead. And we need our cover zipper, which just looks like this, and we are going to need that to sew on right there. So we're just going to sew it on right here, and then we're going to fold that over. How you see, I just sewed this right on here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to take our zipper just like that, and we're just going to put the right sides together like this. So I am just gonna go ahead and sew this. I'm just gonna sew right there, and then we're gonna fold it over. So it's sewn on just like this, how you see, and then I'm just gonna fold it. Take our sewing pattern right there, and we check where we have the zipper. So the zipper is right on here. So because I am gonna sew right next to it, you're gonna mark it, and then you're just gonna top stitch, but you're not gonna top stitch the curve. You're just gonna top stitch until this curve, because then we are able to move the zipper still and put the zipper onto the other side. So I'm knowing that I have to put like about a ½ centimeter closer to this line. So I'm just gonna fold that over and put a little pin in, so it's not get into the way. And we need to put the right sides together. And first of all, we have this cover which goes underneath, which just looks like this with the little curves right there. And what I'm doing, I'm putting them left sides together just like that. And I am just gonna go ahead and sew right there, like the curved part, the open side and the top part. So we have one piece, and we can really easily work with it. And if you have, for example, fabric which will go off and it's not leather, you might want to serge or put the zigzag stitch right around here, but for leather you don't need to have that. I'm just gonna have that right here. I'm not gonna need it right now, but what we do, we're just gonna fold this part over like that, and we are going to sew the zipper right on here. So that's how it is, but one step before we close up the zipper is we're just gonna fold them right sides together. We're still working with the fronts, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna sew right until this mark, which you find also on the sewing pattern. It's a little bit higher than the end of the zipper, and I am just gonna go ahead and sew that. Two legs are attached, which is totally fine and what we want. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm folding them right sides together, how you can see, and I'm just gonna take and put the zipper on right here. Just let's put some needles and some pin so it's not gonna get moved. And just a little tip, whenever you sew the zipper, you might want to open the zipper so it's easier to sew. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and sew that right on here. You can now put that pin away and fold that. You see you have really nice cover up and then the zipper in front. And also when you stretch it, you see it's not gonna roll up or so. So that's something we want. And then we're gonna turn that from the inside, and we have here the cover, and that's the lower cover, like the cover which goes underneath, and we have the straight line and then the curve. And what we do, we're just gonna place that right on here, and for this time I'm gonna use some pins, and I'm just gonna sew, like I'm gonna put that right there, just right there. So I'm gonna basically sew on the same seam I just sewed, but from the inside, so we not have a double seam. So that's going to be the front, and we just sewed on the back. This part we just sewed on, and you see we have no top stitching because we just sewed it on the same seam as the zipper is. And then I'm gonna put a pin right here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and sew this little area. And that's how it's going to look. And now we have this really fixed, and you see here's right where the marks are, and I'm sewed right onto that. And now I'm gonna go ahead and iron this area because then the lines go away, obviously. And for now we're just done with the zipper, and we can move on with the pockets. So what I just did, that's also called the pocket front. I put them right sides together, and how you see I sewed all the way around, and then I cut even pieces in until the seam so it's movable. And whenever you fold it over, you see we have a nice curve. And what I don't want is, even if you would fix the 2 points, like the side seam and the top, the pocket is going to roll over. So I am going to quickly top stitch that, and for that I'm just going to fold everything to the zipper like that, and I'm going to top stitch right onto the seam, so that's not going to be movable anymore. And I'm just gonna go ahead and grab your pocket, and that's the cover back pocket. It just looks like this because I put the lining in, and I'm gonna pull this up just like that. And because now I'm just gonna sew the pockets together, not the side seams or anything else. So I'm just gonna sew right here, right there, and then also all the way up. So let's move that up here, because we only want to sew the pockets. So how you see, I just sewed around, and now you can just just make it flat and even, and sew the side seam so the pocket is not gonna move anymore. Now I'm just gonna go fix this area and also this area. So that's the finished pocket. That looks how it looks from the outside, and it's really big and comfortable for putting your hands in. And from the other side, it's just gonna look just like that. It's fixed through the side seam, and it's fixed on here, Also the pocket is closed, so nothing is falling out. And that's how you're gonna sew the pocket. And we're gonna do the same stuff on the other side too. So you can see I finished the other side from the pants right here. So we have two really nice and big pockets. So here we have the two bags, and we are gonna do the same thing like we did with the front. So we are gonna have two darts here, like one dart over here and one dart here. So I'm gonna sew the darts first, and then we can work with the back pockets. And this part you can just move to the left or to the right side, however you want it. I'm gonna place it to the side seam just like that, and I'm gonna save this really quick. I'm having it written out so you can tell, and then I'm just gonna fold that really quick and then sew also along. How you see, I just quickly top stitch them right here, and what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna fold that over, take some pins and pin it right onto the pants. And you do have on your sewing pattern you have dots, and I would tell you to focus on the three dots below here or down there, and you're just gonna fold that and place them right there where they belong to be, and then you take a needle and then you see it's like you can obviously make it like this or like that. When you fold it, it's gonna go all the way perfectly up. And you have your pocket on, and then you can just, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna top stitch twice. So first really close to the edge and then right next to it. I love how they turned out. I'm a really fan of double stitching the pockets. You don't have to do it, but I really liked it because this detail is going to be on the side as well. What we do now, we just take our front pants, just like here, how you can tell, and then we're gonna have the back parts, and we put them left sides together. Yep. So we put them left sides together. It might seem wrong, but that's how we want it. And then we're just gonna close the side seam all the way, and we do the same with the other side. And that's why I also marked the lines right here, so I'm knowing exactly where I have to go sew. How you can see, we have here the really nice seam. It's double folded and goes all the way down, and I'm gonna do exactly the same with the other side, because then we can just fold them right sides together, how you can see. And I am gonna quickly sew the back mid, that's right here. It should just look like this. That's obviously the inside. And what I'm gonna do, I'm spreading the legs, and I have the front and the back curve, and I am just gonna fold these two on top of each other. I'm gonna pin that down, and then I'm obviously gonna do the same with the one leg all the way down, and then the same with the other So I am really going to sew all the way along from the bottom to up there and then also down here. And I'm gonna do this with the normal stitch like usually, and then you can also go ahead and try your pants on. How you just saw, I tried the pants on and I did make them a little bit smaller because my fabric is a little bit elastic, more than the one I tried on first, like the first product, and so I had to make it a little bit smaller, and it's difficult to do that because we have the side seam closed up with the special seam, but we are able to make them a little bit smaller just inside of the leg, and that's the curve what we just sewed the very last time. And you are able to make them like a centimeter smaller on each side, but I would prefer you and recommend you to not make them a lot smaller in that way, because if you take away too much, the leg is going to roll and make ruffles, and we don't want that. So you are able to make them smaller, but just a little bit. So really don't be scared to take away all the way on the side seam, but every person is different. Some people have like longer legs, smaller legs or so don't worry about that. But when you follow the measurement right, you are gonna make it. And what I would tell you, maybe you're gonna make the pants just a shape, in a cheaper fabric, maybe just some cotton or so you know the fit, and you can tell, okay, do I need it smaller or longer. About the leg wise, the hip area should fit you really well, because obviously that's the main measurement you are focusing on whenever you pick out your size. And the waist we can always adjust, so that's not that problem. In every video I'm making, I'm always telling you guys you can change stuff up. So you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You don't have to use the same fabric that I do. There's something about fashion what I love. So you can make this pants out of a really different fabric, whatever you want. Or you don't have to put pockets in. You don't have to put belt loops on. Or you can just make them smaller. You can make them longer. You can make them shorter, or whatever you want. So that's all about what you want. Let's finish this pants. I'm really excited for that. So yeah, let's keep going. So what I'm gonna do, I have my marks, like the side seams, for example, are right there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fold it about a centimeter more up. We do have to turn that around still. So I'm just gonna quickly go around the waistband, and again check your marks so you're not stretching, for example, the fabric or so, and it's all getting really nice and even. And you can tell by the marks, there's one mark really close to the others, so and that's where the mark is going to be for the lower lid. And we do the same here, just 1 centimeter up, so how you can tell. So how you can see, the waistband fits really well. If it does not, because you just made the darts a little bit smaller, it's fine. You're gonna have about a little bit more off, and you can just cut that off later on. I'm just gonna, with 1 centimeter seam alone, I'm gonna sew all the way around, and then I'm gonna flap that over so we have a really nice looking waistband, like you can see. So the waistband is basically on. You can pull this up, look how it's gonna be. And what we do is we are just gonna fold it right into the middle, like you can tell, and then we're folding this part up, and we are gonna sew this right here. We do the same on the other side. I'm gonna show you again. So you're having it upwards, folding it in half, and then 1 centimeter up. So we have it on both sides, and then we're gonna sew. So now you can turn that off. So you put your finger in there, right? And then you're gonna fold and flip that over. Can wiggle a little bit around. We're gonna do the inside for just now. So what we have here, we are gonna fold that upwards, and then we're gonna fold this 1 centimeter and placing it right on top and putting a needle in there. And I'm just gonna go again all the way around. Make sure to not stretch the fabric and to really get the points onto the points. You have your marks on your fabric, so just following them. And you can also check on the outside right there, and if something is looking not really nice, you can just still change it. I am gonna sew all the way below, and then I'm gonna go up right here and go also top stitch, so this is not rolling up or anything. So the pants is all finished right now. We have the waistband on, which looks really nice. I top stitched, how you can see, all over it. And now we just have to put the button in and also the belt loops. And you can see, like in this pattern, there is actually the seam alone included, so you don't have to put that more. And what we do, we basically just fold them in half and then again folding it, so you see how it's supposed to be. And then I'm gonna put a little pin right there, and I'm gonna top stitch just the one side. And I'm gonna do this with all of them. I have here just a simple button for a pant. Do this part right here, that's your front mid, so you need to put the button right above here. And whenever you do it, make sure to not make the hole too big, because obviously you don't want the button to fall off. And obviously for that you don't have to basically use that. You can just use any other button you want, and then you can just take your button and push that right onto that. So the button is fixed right here, and the front middle is also right there from the upper. It's not that part or so, it's right this line. It might be a little bit confusing, but you have it on your sewing pattern. And we are also going to put a buttonhole in there, so you can just go ahead and use your button presser foot, put that and make a horizontal hole right there. We don't want to put a vertical one, because whenever we put the button in and we would have a vertical one, the hole would always go open and the pants would go open. So the loops are done. I also pinned them on there right now. Then we have the button right here with the buttonhole, so that's all finished. And you do not have any marks for the belt loops on your sewing pattern, because I just like to prefer to put them right onto the finished pants. And we have 5 loops, so we need to have 2 in the front, and I just have that right above the darts right there. And what we need, we have to put them left sides together, so we have to save them right there, and then we're just gonna fold it downward, and this little part we are gonna fold, and then we're just gonna save that right here as well. And that's just how you're gonna do it. I have 2 on the side seams. You see, that's the side seam right here, so I have about 1 centimeter to the left or to the right. And then obviously I have 1 in the back mid right there. And for the hem, you do have to try them maybe on. For me, they really fit really well. So the only thing I have to do is hem them, and I'm just going to do it with a really normal stitch. And now that I have about 2 centimeters to fold, so I am just going to do that really quick. I have my measurement right here, and what I'm basically going to do is just fold that 2 centimeters. So whenever you're not working with leather, you obviously have to serge it first, and you can also mark it with a marker if you like, but for me, I just gonna go around with 2 centimeters. And what you also can do, you can fold that over and check if it's about 2 centimeters. Okay guys, that's it for today. I really hope you liked today's video. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and maybe follow me on Instagram, and yeah, the pattern you're gonna find down below in the description box, so maybe check that out in my shop. There are also many more other videos. That's it also for this year, and I'm really looking forward to make really nice and cute sewing patterns for you guys in the next year. So I wish you all a really nice Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yeah, see you in the next video. Bye!